Thank you for joining us on another Cash or Trash episode. I'd like to warn everybody that some of these videos may be a little upsetting to some of you because we may be talking a little bit of trash about some of these brands, especially if you work for the company, if you own any of these brands, or if you're just a fan of them. We may talk a little bit of trash and knock them down a peg or two, but there may be some good stuff as well, so check it out. Hey everyone, it's Alan again with our Cash or Trash episode. In today's episode, we're kind of jumping the gun because we haven't done a video on Thursday Boot Company's original build and design, but this is an opportunity that I can't pass up because this is my first time getting a pair of their sneakers in for anything. Now, these sneakers aren't getting recrafted, repaired, or anything like that. They are getting an orthopedic lift, so thankfully I got one of the soles off so I can show you guys what's going on with them inside. So Thursday Boot Company, obviously you guys know I'm an admin in the enthusiast page on Facebook, so definitely check that out if you're interested. Thursday Boot Company is a little more well known for their Goodyear welted model of boots and shoes for a really good price. Keep in mind it is a price point thing as well that we have to consider too, and categories and what it is that you're after. So without dragging out too much time, let's go ahead and jump into it. So as far as material quality, we're gonna give them a 7.5 because they do use a leather upper, leather liner. There's a lot of cool little details. Keep in mind, this isn't a sneaker category. It's not a Goodyear welted category or Blake Stitch category or anything like that. It is a sneaker boot, shoe, high top, whatever you want to call it, basically. But it is a sneaker after all, and so we have to kind of give it a fair rating in that category. Me as a cobbler, we're not big fans of sneakers, but we still have to do certain type of work on them fairly frequently as well, like orthopedic lifts. So 7.5 on their material because for a sneaker, definitely awesome that they're using a leather upper, leather liner. They even come with leather laces. The gentleman who owns these, it looks like he switched them out to some elastic ones. The insole that they're using is just a soft cushiony type that does have a little bit of support. We'll get to the support in a second, and it does have a leather liner over top of it. That leather may come unglued, just as a full disclosure, after a period of time. That's one of the reasons why I'm only giving them 7.5. Rubber soles aren't phenomenal, but they're also not the cheapest material out there. They do use a foam on the inside. You see that on just about every sneaker, so don't be thinking that they're supposed to have cork. Cork is intended more for like a Goodyear welted Blake Stitch shoe, more of the dressy shoes, the work boots and all that kind of stuff, Western boots as well. But for a sneaker, cork is usually not used. Although this one, now that brings me to my next point for build quality, I'm gonna have to patch this hole up here. This was not something I sliced. Full disclosure, obviously I sliced out the sole. I did have a little small nick right there, but I kept the piece. So usually we keep all the pieces and make sure that they fit back in like a puzzle perfectly. But this was like this when I took it apart. There was a piece missing, so build quality dropped down to that 7.5 a little bit. Obviously the soles are hollow a little bit, so you get a little bit of that cushiony feel and everything. That's where the comfort comes into play. Because these have, you know, lighter material, a little more cushion, softer materials, we're gonna have to give them an 8 on comfort because obviously it's a sneaker. It's not a, you know, heavy work boot. It's not a Western boot where you really have to break it in all that much. Out of the box, you're probably gonna feel a little more comfortable wearing these than having to break them in. There are gonna be a few spots that you have to break in, obviously, like the width. Maybe if you have a wider foot, you have to kind of let it break in and ease up. But because of that leather on there instead of synthetic material like most sneakers have, it'll be a little bit easier to do. Support, it's not a supportive shoe, but they do have, you know, very, very slight arch support in here, slightly cupped heel, and the way that the shoes fit and everything, it'll hug that back of the heel and arch area nicely in combination with their insole. So we'll give them at least a 6, but they are, after all, not a support type of shoe. Collectability, I honestly don't think they're much of a collectible type of shoe. They're not something you can really show off too much. Got a little interrupted there, but collectability, yeah, like I mentioned, it's a 5 because if you're in the Thursday boot group, honestly, they have other models that are way more collectible and way more, you know, sought after. In other words, show-offability, I can't give them much of a show-offability points. We'll give them a 3 at least, just because they are a Thursday boot, kind of new to the market and everything. But honestly, 3 is kind of being fair with us. It's a sneaker, all right? You don't really show off with sneakers unless they're a really collectible type of thing or super limited edition, but this is a standard sneaker, so there's not much to collect on it. And in the groups, most of the guys, again, they're talking about the Goodyear welted models and comparing it to other Goodyear welted brands, not sneakers to other sneakers. It's kind of, honestly, if you have a pair, you can post them in the group by all means, but don't get upset if there's a few people that are going to say, why did you do that? Why did you buy those? Because most of those guys are not sneakerheads. If you're a sneakerhead, however, that might be a different story a little bit, because it's completely different. It's out of the blue. It's not your normal sneaker that you own. So it may catch on and become something that's a little more a show-offable type of shoe sneaker thing. So maintenance is an 8, just because, again, they are leather uppers. There's not much that you really have to deal with and stuff, especially if you have the standard black color. Very easy to maintain, honestly. And then as far as like small things, if the sole starts coming apart, it's an easy fix. So that brings us to the next one, which is recraftability. Recraftability, I can't give it much. We're gonna have to give it a 2. And again, that's being fair, just because there's a lot of limitations. If there's going to be like minor stitching somewhere, that's one thing. This here that we're doing orthopedic lift on, that's customizing. That's not recrafting at all. So it's in a whole different category all in itself. It's something that we're kind of forced to do to be able to get people to be able to walk and wear shoes, because some people can't actually unless they have a lift in there. But yeah, I think honestly a 2 is fair enough. Some people are going to say, well, what about putting a flat sole on the bottom? Technically, that's an option. Recrafting, we can technically do a whole new sole with a new rand all around, build up a base, and then all that kind of stuff. But due to the cost of one material and the time, you're looking at way more than what these shoes are worth, like by a long shot, honestly. I mean, I'm talking at least probably anywhere between 2.5 to up to 4 times more, depending on exact request that you may want. Honestly, if you want it, we've done crazier, honestly. So and price point, obviously, like I said, they're at a good low price point, so it's a low, which is definitely a good thing. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because everything else on a point scale kind of adds up where they would be a trash, but because they do have a low price point, and it is a sneaker after all. Keep in mind, it is a sneaker. I'm going to give these a cash just because of that price point, and that they actually have good features on it and everything like that. I'm going to have to give them a cash, just because I've seen sneakers that cost 4 times more than these that are just horrendous, like the materials, the build quality, or maybe even something else too. There's just horrible things about it. And for the price point, because the price point at the end of the day kind of wins out, if you guys want to compare prices, I guess low price point, it's got to be 10 points. Then you got your medium, your high, and then your luxury, and it kind of drops down the more the price goes up. We're going to have to do that just so you guys can be aware. And then, of course, all the points in between. We're not even going to get into all the point systems. But with that low price point, and that there are some nice features in these sneakers, definitely a cash. So check them out. I'll leave a link down below for them. If you have any questions or details, definitely hit up Thursday Boot Company. Check out the Thursday Enthusiast page on Facebook, and also you can message us. Usually Instagram or Facebook works best. Emails take a little while, and so does my comments. Apparently I've been kind of lagging on those. Sorry, full disclosure, I have been lagging on them with everything else going on. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, we jumped the gun with the Thursday Boot brand. We're definitely going to do another video, so make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell icon, so we can do a video on their traditional Goodyear welted style models, which is where the company and brand originally started with. Now those, obviously everyone knows I do love those, so you can already predict what I'm going to say on them, but we're going to break them down a little bit more anyways. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.